Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about dysentery in this video. We're going to talk about the Oregon Trail and the irony that Oregon, Portland in particular, is having a dysentery outbreak.
Now, we don't want anybody to have dysentery.
Nobody wants dysentery,
but
right?
It's highly ironic.
It is highly ironic because of the meme, because so many digital family members have died from dysentery over the years. And that has not been lost on so many media outlets. They're talking about, they're like, oh, the irony of Oregon having a dysentery outbreak. So let's talk about this poop. I don't know if I can say the other word this early into the video.
I was going to say it, but you said I wasn't allowed to.
Well,
shit got real.
There we go. I think we're after our 7 seconds. There we go. That should be the title of the video, but we can't title it that. Shit gets real in Oregon. So let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, you will get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo.
Go out to clownfishtv.substack.com if you're looking for notifications of our videos. And this one actually comes from Drez. We're going to reactivate Drez, I think, as a Substack. But we'll go out to the main source here for it. Dysentery.
So what's going on? Like, we got the measles outbreak going on, and now dysentery.
Now we have dysentery. So this is coming from Oregon news site Portland. Dysentery is on the rise in Portland, according to recent data released by the county health department. Also known as shigellosis.
I call it the shits, but
Dysentery is a highly contagious bacterial disease that can cause fever, cramps, vomiting, and diarrhea, and cause you to stop your pilgrimage to the West Coast.
It's spread when someone gets fecal matter from an infected person in their mouth.
Okay, so this is Portland. I'm just saying, this is happening in Portland. Are you trying to imply people eat shit in Portland? People eating shit in Portland? They stepped in shit? I mean, I'm just saying.
They might have wiped it off their shoe, got it on their finger, didn't realize it.
I mean, look, those West Coast cities, coastal cities, they're taking big old dumps in the street. I mean, it's like we're going back to the freaking Middle Ages, right? I'm waiting for bubonic plague to come back.
Don't even, but it has before. I'm just like, we got measles outbreak, and now we got dysentery. And it's like, is this, it's almost like it's just like the 1800s again?
Well, yeah, so we don't even need a wagon here. According to the health department, 2 types of Shigella. That sounds like an alien from Star Trek. Shigella. Shigella typically circulate in Oregon, although both strains can cause severe diarrhea. Officials are not seeing the strain, which can cause more severe or fatal illnesses. So nobody's dying; they're just getting the screaming squirts.
Okay, that's good.
But they're resistant to antibiotics.
That's not good.
Cases have been rising since 2012. The health department data on dysentery cases collected by the county from 2017 to 2024 shows a marked increase in the number of cases.
19 in 2017, and now we're at 158 in 2024, and now we're back again.
That's a lot of shit.
Well, I mean, relatively speaking, it's not a lot, but still, there's an increase for sure.
So when was Chaz? Was Chaz Oregon?
I don't know.
Wasn't it like around in here somewhere?
Was it Washington? I don't remember.
I don't remember.
So much I care.
According to the county, 91% of the cases in that 7-year time frame were caused by person-to-person spread, adding that the fecal-oral spread through intimate contact.
There you go.
May account for between half and more than 2/3 of all recorded cases. Oregon eats a lot of ass. And, oh my God.
Well, not a whole lot, because there's already been 40 this year.
Of the recent cluster of cases, county said 56% were among people that were homeless, and 55% of those cases reported meth or opiate. So homeless people in Oregon are spreading dysentery like it's the 1800s.
That's what it sounds like.
Wow.
And drug users, and apparently mouth to butt.
Oh my God. Don't human centipede. Yeah. So everybody making this joke, even the New York Post making this joke. Nobody's dying from it, thank God. But yeah, we used to here. We'll talk about Oregon Trail. We used to play the Oregon Trail in school. I did. You said you
I
didn't.
did not.
No, before we recorded, you're like, I've never played Oregon Trail.
I've never played it. We played math games and stuff like that, spelling games on our computers at school. We didn't play Oregon Trail.
No, we played Family Death Simulator, basically.
Simulator.
But what I was the most surprised about, like looking into this, is that Oregon Trail actually was created in 1971.
Dang.
So, and it didn't become. I don't know when they did the graphical version of it, but like I was like, could we do that in 1971? So I think it was text based in 1971.
I was gonna say it was like a book, like if this then this, choose your own adventure.
Pretty
choose
much,
your own,
yeah. A lot of the early computer games
family
were.
death.
Which kid do you love most?
Kind of thing.
Right. Which kid are you gonna save? Like your child? No, they didn't actually do this, but they should make like if they haven't done it already, they should make like a hyper realistic Oregon Trail, and it's like freaking Little House on the Prairie.
VR Oregon Trail.
VR Oregon Trail. They probably have it, but the kids were actually into it for a while because it was a meme, and they were playing it on their phones, and I had to explain it to them and be like, yeah. So we used to play these on. We used to play this on the Apple. We used to have the Apple Cart.
Yes,
Don't
we
upset
had
the Apple Cart.
too.
We had the Apple Cart.
We weren't given enough time to play something like this. It was just like, go do your math, your multiplication tables. Okay, good. Next.
Well, we did that too. We did like, I don't know, it was like Math Blasters or something.
Yeah, Math Blaster. I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
I didn't like it.
We did that. And then they had us doing like basic programming. And we'd do the little turtle. We'd make the turtle make a little starburst. That was like a thing that we did. And yeah, then we played Oregon Trail. So we didn't have any like good games. Like there wasn't any like, Ultima or anything on.
I remember like when they first started getting these computers, like we had a Commodore, but you had to like, when you put a disc in, you had to program, type it in or run programs to get things to run. You had to like, it wasn't like Windows was so great, guys. You don't understand. Like when Windows came about, you didn't have to like actually tell it to go do stuff. Like Windows would do it for you. It was so revolutionary.
Well, that was the thing.
I feel so old. I feel like I might have died of dysentery.
Oh yeah, because our Oregon Trail, it was on a 5-inch disc.
Yeah,
big ass floppy.
The big floppy discs.
And but yeah, and I remember it was like, everybody's like, oh my God, a computer. And then a couple of years later, we got Macs in the computer lab, and that was like magic because that was before Windows, the Macs had the
oh yeah, I forgot about Macs. But I mean, for general people, like the Windows was what made a huge difference because before that you had to like tell it what to do.
Right, and then you could just point and click. So the graphical user interface, which is like just everybody takes that for granted now. I'm like, no, kids, you don't understand. You have a blinking cursor, you put the disc in, and to make it go, you had to tell it to go. Yeah,
you had to do different steps to type it in to make it to do what you wanted it to do. And like our kids will never know the floppy disk difficulty.
Yeah, because sometimes they worked and sometimes they didn't. And our disk drives were external and they had a ribbon connected. And you put it in, you'd have to listen, like, is it working? They were baffled by the CD-ROM, the rewritable CD-ROM drive.
Were they?
Yeah, they were. They're like, what is this dark magic? I'm like, oh, we used to put things on CDs. And before that, we used to put things on floppy disks.
Floppy disks, yes. And then they had the hard ones. And then before that, they were like the big 5-inch, literal floppy disk.
Yeah, then we had the 3.5-inch, and the 3.5-inch were like, wow, they're tiny. I remember like when I got my first home computer, it was the 3.5-inch. And I was kind of confused at first. I was like, these look like Mac discs. Like, what the frick is going on here?
Now it just all stores. But yeah, back in the day, you had to actually have a place to put these things. I feel old.
I had my case with I had my 3.5-inch and my 5.25-inch disc. And then me and my friends, we used to actually trade computer games. So we would burn copies because you could do that back then. And then they started putting the control on it. They had a little tab that they'd break out on the, if I remember correctly, on the discs.
They would break it. Yeah, you couldn't overwrite it if a tab was broken.
Right. And, we found workarounds. But we used to, like one of us would buy a D&D game and then we'd copy it and everybody would get a copy of it. Like, okay, I bought a Secret of the Silver Blades, and now everybody's going to get a copy of it. But then it kind of sucked in how they got around the copyright protection issue was you had to have the manual, because the manual would have like, okay, if you want to play the game, you got to look, page whatever, and like the third word in the fourth paragraph, put that in. So you'd have to copy the book too. So it actually became more of a pain in the ass for people. But yeah, they used to do stuff like that all the time. Like, okay, we need to prove that you actually own it, so you're going to have to bust out your instruction manual.
See, I never did that, so I wouldn't know. But I do remember you couldn't overwrite the disc if the thing was. Well, later they had a slide thing that you could do that, but if they busted it off, you couldn't overwrite it. But I think people would put tape on it or whatever or something. And still
there were workarounds.
But I remember. Do you remember the you said about your disc and storage? Did you have like the little thing on your desktop too, where it was like a little file folder and you'd like flip through it?
Yeah, it was like a Rolodex.
Yeah, it was a Rolodex, but it was like a little like plastic, like rectangular thing.
Yeah, it had a little sliding thing you could.
And then you just use your finger to pick to see what you wanted.
Oh, I had those I had one for my NES games. I had one for my CDs. I had one of those for my Atari games. It was just like, that was like the thing back then. We should bring that back, but kids don't know. Anyway, how do we get talking?
Anyway, back to dysentery.
Back to dysentery. Don't eat ass in Oregon.
Don't do butt stuff and then sucky unless you washy. I'm just saying.
That should actually see. You could have taken Kennedy's job. You could have been the health czar. Geeky says, "Don't do butt stuff and then sucky."
Not washy.
Knowing is half the battle. Yo, Joe. Oh my God. We should take that and like put it over freaking Scarlet from G.I. Joe. And be like, don't do butt stuff and then sucky. And knowing is half the battle. Yo, Joe.
I thought you have to washy.
We'll have to washy.
You forgot the most important part, the washy.
Washy. Pork chop sandwiches. Anyway, we're going to wrap this up.
Yep.
How much mileage can we get at dysentery?
I don't know. You got 12 minutes. Hey, real quick, they had these ornaments out last year for Christmas because we bought one.
Oh, yeah, we did.
You died dysentery. Walmart had them as a Christmas ornament. So if you could get a hold of those, you can send them to somebody you know as a joke.
In Portland? Well, if they actually did, that would be awful.
No, thankfully this is the non-lethal. Yes.
But still washy.
We wouldn't be making a video about it if it was.
I'm sure it's very very unpleasant. So don't sucky with that washy. That's right. All right, we're gonna wrap this. I think we need to wrap this up. God, yeah. It's Sunday, guys. This is slow news day. Okay, we're gonna talk to you later.
Bye.